Euro had that pullback, and so did CAD after those jobless claims. And we had a workshop this weekend. Let's roll the intro. First things first, guys, do you like this? Is this something that you like? Give me a hashtag yes or no in the comments sections. Hope you guys are having a good weekend. I'm having a pretty good weekend myself. Yesterday we had a workshop, Top Trader Workshop. We went over money management. It was a really awesome event. I'm rolling some B-roll so you guys can see what it looked like. We were over in our new office here in downtown Atlanta, and any members in the ATL are actually going to be able to come to the office probably on weekends, right? Fridays or Saturdays, and we're just gonna have little talks, discuss markets this past week. It's gonna be pretty awesome, so I'm really excited about that. So if you're an ATL and you're with the top traders, make sure you come out. Okay, just shoot me an email. My email will be in the comments section, in the description. Shoot me an email if you're in the Atlanta area, and then just come on through. Okay, so outside of that, folks, we had a pretty good week last week. Okay, probably the best week, thanks to Jesus Nunez. He's our head trader inside of the community, and he is absolutely crushing it. Okay, not one person has anything bad to say about Jesus for the past like 8 weeks. Okay, so great job, man. We're gonna go over a couple of the trades that he called out, specifically that CAD short, and I actually called out a Euro short as well, mentioned on the Monday breakdown. Okay, so if you guys aren't subscribed, you're just missing all of this good material, good signals coming out. Okay, so please do that. It's right below. And also, I feel like I'm a cool guy. I feel like you're probably cool as well. I would like your video, so like mine. All right, so like the video for your boy. I appreciate it. Okay, so folks, let's talk about this Euro USD. Okay, now that you just liked the video, the Euro USD, we had a little bit of a pullback, right? But before we had the pullback, we had a massive correction up in the structure. I said this assuming that we were going to get a pullback. Maybe we can catch a break back down onto the 1820s, maybe the 18 teens. Okay, so we have cool. Okay, so if you look at it, right at 1925, you had a little bit of a consolidation up there. It was a 4-hour consolidation, so not a daily. You saw it definitely on a 4-hour, and we were assuming we were going to get a break back down into the 1830s, and that's exactly what happened. Okay, we were updating along in our community as well. So we had two take profits. I pulled out at 1960, and then we had a final at 1830 as well. Here's a screenshot of us talking about it in the community. Okay, so again, massive spike to the upside. We were assuming that Euro was going to spike, but we didn't think that it was going to spike that high, right? Right now, Euro is just monstrously higher than we expected it to run, right? So we also had a trade idea on last week's breakdown on the GBP JPY. Check out the GBP JPY trade idea. Markets were somewhat wedging, right? We had a floor at a 38.2, and markets were wedging, and you had just markets kind of hammering down. Trend line, boom, break to the upside, called it. That's what happened, man. Pound ran. So check out this snippet here. What if we get a break here, right? So what if we get a break of this overall TL? That's something I was looking at earlier. If we get a break right here, this TL, then boom, might be able to take a run back up into structure. So again, just an extremely huge up move up into structure. Okay, we are looking to short that this week. All right, so maybe we can get some kind of structural alignment. We'll talk about it over when we do some of the technical analysis. But man, just a monstrous up move. I knew that if markets broke that CTL there of the wedge, that we would probably get markets to come back up and to the high, but just didn't expect it to happen that fast. Okay, so last but not least, Jesus. I'm going to throw out some screenshots of him actually calling out the US CAD idea. And here's also a screenshot of US CAD. US CAD came all the way up into that previous high, and then you just saw markets melt after a jobless claim. Okay, they added 79,000 jobs, and their jobless rate percentage is actually 5.9%. So apparently one of the best numbers that have come out for Canada all this year. Okay, so boom, melt to the sell side. Makes sense, right? Markets were trading at a premium up there at the $1.29s. So obviously, if US CAD has, if the CAD has good news, then you're probably going to get some of those market participants that were buying into that move to liquidate, right? To get out of that position. And it also could have been probably a lack of liquidity to the buy side or the sell side. So you just have markets kind of just edging higher. Then once that news came out, boom, you have a fierce move back down into structure. So his first target was the actual mids of the consolidation. I think he also had a little bit of a profit target. Here's his targets there. And then markets just melted even outside of that. They actually pulled back down into the lower part of that larger consolidation. So that's pretty impressive. So this week, again, GBP/JPY, that's the one I'm looking at. And I also do think Aussie could potentially have a little bit of a continuation, right? Aussie kind of pulled back a bit. Thinking Aussie could have a continuation as well. I'll show you guys over in the charts. And we're also just going to scour and look for anything else. Maybe there's something in the minors. Maybe there's something in the exotics. Maybe we'll find something over in some of the other majors. We'll see what happens. Okay, so guys, look, like and subscribe. Okay, make sure you're subscribed so you get this stuff out pretty quick. And I put a lot into these. Okay, so like the video for your boy. I really appreciate it. Let's go over into the charts. The chart. Okay. All right, traders. Let's pull over into these charts real quick. So first, starting off, our Bay Euro USD. Euro USD, as we mentioned last week, after we got that break outside of the structure, this was that pullback, retest back down into these 1820s, 1830s a bit, right? So let's pull over. Let's head over to the daily to see what we're looking like, and then we can continue along here. So this is what we're looking like on the daily. We did have a breakout here of this structure. If you guys remember, we were long, and then we were also long after markets failed to go lower here. So we were assuming that markets, if they broke above literally this day's high, that we would get a continuation up into the previous structure, and we did. And that was that massive spike back up into this structure here, and this was the short that we actually took last week all the way back down into these 18s. Okay, so that's what we're looking like on the daily. If I just show you guys the overall general perspective of this consolidation, check this out here. Let's pull over. Let's go to the weekly. So from the high to the low, you guys can see where we're at. Okay, bada boom, bada bing. All right, and so right now market's still floating inside of this range. All right, so pull back. Couple of weeks, markets traded back up into that range that we were actually looking for. I'm telling you, I said it last week. This was that area that we wanted to see markets trade up into before we got that pullback, before we had markets actually break this low. When we saw markets touch right here at this 1670s, we wanted to see markets pull all the way back up into this level right here, and all we did was really touch it. Well, we just got our pullback, right? We had a little bit of another market move lower here. This was, remember, I don't know if you guys remember, this was a pretty good CPI release for the US dollar. We had markets pull back down in, got a little stuck. After we got stuck for a few weeks, two to be exact, we exploded outside of that structure. We just ran right back up into that consolidation. So now it's pretty interesting, okay? Usually you see markets turn over at this point, all right? This is going to be a defining week. Because, guys, if this U.S. dollar, I mean, you guys know what's going on in the past few days here. Tax reform, but then you got Michael Flynn actually getting, charged with the alliance of the FBI. These guys are wild, man. Look, that's definitely going to add up to some volatility. Okay, if you look over at the S&P 500, Trump actually tweeted about this. Look at this. We made another high, folks. Isn't that amazing? All right, this market's about to explode. Check this out. So after that Michael Flynn incident, there was some wrong reporting by ABC. Look at that spike to the sell side, only for markets to make new highs. Amazing, folks. This is liquidity all over the place. Okay, we're actually going to be talking about this probably during our top trader webinar, going over this exact price move here. But that's pretty interesting. But either way, this market's being affected by what's happening in the White House. Okay, so that is giving me some kind of inclination on, hey, could that affect us over here? Because look, this would be a great place to see markets pull back. But again, if the U.S. weakness preludes, if anything else wild happens over the next couple of weeks, folks, we're going to be in trouble, and we are going to be able to push up into this range. Before I said, hey, we might not see markets push outside of this range, guys, that looks a little different, right? So if I pull up here, our mid is right there at, okay, so let me pull that over. That was our mid. I'm going to show you guys. So here's our mid right here of this larger consolidation. Okay, so I'll pull over just straight into the consolidation. Really important for you to understand the mids of consolidations. That's usually where you don't want to play. Okay, but after you see things like this, things can change a bit. But sometimes you just get a little bit of irregularity in price action, and price structure becomes a little bit strange. It's kind of hard to quantify price moves. All right, but here's where we are. We're sitting right there on it right now, a little bit underneath. Okay, but at the end of the day, have a little bit more upside. We filled the gap here in terms of the mid from the last few weeks. Market has to make a decision. Either it's going to turn around here now that it's consolidating in this mid. Either it's going to turn around and start pushing back down onto this structure, or markets are going to start hammering around, going no lower than these 18 flats. All right, this is actually where we thought markets would pull back to and entirely go no lower than these 18 flats. and just start pushing up higher, starting to make new structures, and maybe coming back up into this higher range here. Goodness, I mean, with a few weeks left, maybe you could break out of it. Maybe you could break out of it. That's pretty interesting. So we'll see what happens over here on this Euro USD. We've had some fun in that chat room today. But at the end of the day, we may see markets pull back a bit. That's what I would love to see. But we'd have to see what these implications. We have to see what these implications involving the United States has to do. So I want to go short. We'll see what happens. Okay, we'll see what happens. I'll be doing some updates in the community and whatnot. Aussie Dollar was a pair that I was talking about. I'll show you guys what we were looking like on the Aussie Dollar earlier Friday. It was pretty interesting. We had a today's markets video earlier Friday. I'll actually tag that today's market video in the description below so you can see what we were looking for on Friday. And it's pretty funny what ended up happening. We were hoping for markets last week. I don't know if you guys remember. Go check out the last Monday breakdown. We were hoping for markets to break outside of this high. Okay, but once markets pulled all the way back down and rested on the base of this move here and created this consolidation here, okay, now we're back in the mids. I presumed we could break out of this level and push back up into that structure. All right, and so boom, that's what happened. All right, so what was amazing was I didn't expect it to happen on freaking Friday. So I was so in that video, I want you guys to watch that video. I said, guys, look, we might have a nice area to start buying this Aussie up on Sunday night, Monday markets next week, and then pop, you get that monstrous move back up into structure. So that's wild. But at the end of the day, again, another gap back down into structure, and now we're sitting right on the level as well. So if we look over and we check out this daily. So looking at it from this larger perspective, I think you guys can see what I'm, what I'm looking at here, right? I think we can see markets push back up into structure a bit. Remember, this thing is still hanging around this enormous structure that we were looking at a week or so ago, right? So if I let's zone it up, markets came back down, hammered back down into the structure, and right now we're just hanging around inside of this enormous consolidation. So you have a few wicks outside of it. Okay, you have a few wicks outside of it. It looks better on a monthly, but as you guys can see, markets hammering back down into this level. Hey, we could probably see something float back up into that level here. And again, that really does give us, this is a great scenario here for U.S. weakness, right? Because, dude, U.S. weakness is something that I think is just kind of it's inevitable at this point. I mean, this administration is just absolutely, I'm at a loss for words, guys. I'm at a loss for words. Hashtag, if you're at a loss for words, hashtag I'm at a loss for words too, because this shit is crazy. So this is our dollar index. Dollar index, again, we're on our last leg a bit here, right? We're actually back down onto this consolidation here, okay? That's pretty interesting. So we maybe can, again, if we can maintain, then yeah, we will have a little bit of U.S. Strength come on in. But it's very interesting to see us down here at this level. It's like, okay, I don't want to see this level broken, but on the same token, it looks good if it is broken to probably start buying up Aussie and start buying up some of these other pairs that seem to be overextended to the buy side for this U.S. dollar. Obviously, Aussie has had a little bit of a weakening come in the past couple of months, past couple of weeks. But again, U.S. dollar weakness would mean that we break that level, and it would also mean that we would push higher up into the structure. Pretty interesting stuff. Let's take a look at this GBP USD, and that is the trade, by the way. We want to see that thing buy up. GBP USD has been very interesting because it's had this trending style motion. If you guys can notice this here, you really haven't had a solid entry, no solid pullback. It's just kind of hard to really put yourself in a situation where you say, okay, guys, let's start buying euro. Let's start buying this pound up. You'd have to pull over into a 4 hour, right? You have to pull over into a smaller time frame and hope to catch a ceiling, okay? And then you would look for a breakout of the ceiling, all right? Since I guess around the 33 mids, 33.40, 33.50s, you really haven't had that. All right, so right now, markets, you have had a pullback, and this is the most substantial pullback in the past 250 pips of up movement. And obviously, we had the gap just kind of fill a bit here. Maybe we can get a pullback on this pound. Again, we wanted pound long quite some time ago. Again, you just kind of want to get in on the right situation. So if you look at pound real quick, what you guys will notice is after markets broke outside of this lower consolidation, right now we're just ranging back up into the high of that consolidation. All right, so it's not a massive move outside of the structure, right? We only see around we got this new week that's just launched. Last week is the week that we really broke out of it. Okay, nothing's moved too far, but once you get outside of these $36s, you're like, damn, okay, either you're gonna have to take a break out of the 36, or you may be able to take a pullback. Maybe markets pull back down into the 33 mids, and then you can get a crack back up, and then boom, you're gonna get an explosion outside of that structure there, just like how we did on that Euro USD, except on a smaller time frame, right? That's what we were looking for right here, where we wanted markets to pull back up in the structure. You had that over-exaggerated move. Markets came up into the high. You were looking for that pullback, take the breakout. Now that you see markets consolidated at that low, boom, you get the breakout of structure. We can see that same thing happen over here for the GBP USD, right? Just to draw it up for you, just to show you guys the similarities here. Again, here's that high. You get markets to pull back up into that structure there. Let me pull over and show you guys on the, there we go. And then, boom, maybe we get the pullback, and then we get markets to push higher. So that's what I'm looking for. So right now, the fact that markets aren't really at the high, haven't really pulled back, folks, this is a no-fly zone. Okay, that's a no-fly zone. Relax. I'm sitting on my hands until we get a better structural formation over here on that GBP USD. Next, let's take a look at this UCAD. Okay, so shout out to Jesus for calling out that UCAD, man. Look at that. He called out the single largest sell day on UCAD. I mean, gee, when have we had a sell day on the UCAD larger than what we saw on Friday? So this is a 210 pip move. Yeah, that might be it. That might be it. Oh, there's a 270. So it looks like he called out, man, the single largest sell day in Q4 for sure, and probably number 2 in the all this year. Okay, number 2 all this year. That's pretty massive. All right, so great job on that, man. That shot us back down into this lower structure here, and you guys can see where we're at. That's pretty interesting. Okay, now this CAD is really about to add up for something nice here. Maybe we can get a break of this level now. Okay, now obviously I'm a little bit nervous, folks, because with such a monstrous sell-off, you're a little bit nervous about what? Liquidation, right? You're a little bit nervous about some folks that got in on that sell liquidating down here at this lower structure. That does suck. Okay, so now if you want to continue in that sell, we caught the sell last week. If you want to execute in that sell, you would be catching the larger sell though, right? Because you would be looking for markets to pull back down into the 25s and so on and so forth. And if the US dollar is losing steam, then hey, you could really see this thing potentially correct. I mean, all the way back down into the structural low. All right. I mean, if I pull over into the weekly, you guys will see where we're at. We had markets pull back up into this structure here. Now that markets pulled back and you see markets had that test in this zone here, maybe now this is when you get what? You know, you get your pullback. Something, I mean, really simple stuff here. Okay, so that's what we're looking for this UCAD. It came pretty quick though, right? Last week, you didn't expect it all to come in one day. So you got to withstand the turbulence if you're going to swing, all right? You got to pull back a bit onto these larger time frames and not look so deep into markets. If you're looking for these larger targets, don't be on that 4-hour, don't be on that 30-minute, don't be on that 1 hour. You got to pull back, let markets run around and do whatever the hell they want within this consolidation. And then eventually, if your theory is right, you will see markets start to pull back down in the structure. But don't let the volatility and over-leveraging your portfolio whip you out of anything that's possible, right? So we got a lot of stuff that we're looking at. Let's take a look one more time at that GBP JPY. And then we're going to wrap up. I hate to be on for too long with you guys. So check a look at this, right? So we had that CTL break to the upside. Okay, CTL break back up into the upside here. Now, if you guys can notice, here's our weekly. Hey, that's our yearly high. Okay, that's our yearly high. So that's pretty interesting. Are we going to break out of this structural high here? That's what is possible. Now, look, that was a massive spike up in the structure, just like how we saw over there on that US CAD. Makes you a little bit nervous, though, right, to get in at this high. So, again, I would relax a bit. I don't know if catching the breakout higher here is something that you want to execute on. We know this GBP JPY can run, though. Okay, right here you got a 1,300 pip move with no pullback. Okay, so the GBP JPY can do it, and that was earlier this year. Okay, that was only 2 months ago. So to see a 500 pip move, hey, look, that's definitely within the possibilities of what the GBP JPY can do if the markets are suitable for that type of environment. Now, what happened here? Well, what happened here was you actually had some bad JPY news and some good GBP news. Got a little bit of economic divergence, and then that's why you saw markets kind of throw this this exchange rate to the high here at this 152.80s. Okay, so same thing here, folks. Would love to see a small pullback potentially. We already actually got one, if you guys can see, but maybe we can get an even larger pullback back down onto the 150s, and then maybe you get your rip back up into structure. Okay, now if it just rips, then I'm really gonna miss the move. But I just know that, hey, freaking 7-8 times out of 10, if I try to take that breakout, I'm going to lose money because that thing usually will come right back down against me. All right, you want to be careful trying to buy breakouts when markets are at highs and you have just such a monstrous push up into structure. You never know how the actual trading, the trading and the markets are actually going to align. You don't know if markets can run for another 2,000 pips, but hey, it's better safe than sorry. That's a very rare occurrence, right? So you can assume that markets are going to pull back a bit before you get that rip back up into structure. So if you guys are looking at anything, please let me know. Okay, let me know. We'll take a look at NZD/USD and then we'll wrap up things here. But NZD/USD, same thing that we've seen really for the past few weeks. If you guys can notice, this is a daily, right? So I mean, really since the beginning of September, October, mid-October, you really had this market consolidated. Same thing, right? So maybe you can get, again, it looks somewhat like the US dollar, the Aussie US dollar, maybe get a push back up into structure here. Those things are fairly well correlated, and then you could take some kind of break, whether you would take the break around this area, maybe around the 69 flats, 69 teens, or you wait for markets to push back up into the 69 60s. Overall, it's really just a zone, isn't it? So keep a look of where markets can go here, and then if markets can reach up into this structural area, you can take a break, or you could just kind of buy it up into that level, pull stops up into break even, and then just hope that markets can have that continuation. I don't like to hope. I like to see markets break out of the level. I have a little bit more faith that markets are going to have that continuation. Okay, so guys, that's really it. Let me know down below what you guys are looking at. I'm actually pretty interested in knowing what else is out there. I kind of have what I want really kind of mapped out. Okay, so rewind the tape here if you guys need to know exactly what I'm looking at, but it's pretty much there for you. Okay, so guys, look, your profit, always my motive. Please subscribe and like the video. I'll talk to you guys real soon. Peace.